Hi, good day. My name is Ifai Okebono, and on this task, I just want to quickly show you how to create and connect to Amazon EC2 instance in a private network. Quickly, for this task, we have a couple of requirements, and here they are. We will need network infrastructure, either existing or you would have to create one. For this task, I have created one already just to save us some time because we have time constraint. We also need a Bastion host. A Bastion host is a jump host. Okay, the purpose of a Bastion host is just to provide a connection to our EC2 instance. So it forwards every connection from the public domain. Yes, so I'm implementing this Bastion host just for administrative purpose in case the administrator need to do some configuration, some management jobs on the EC2 instance, which is our app server. We will also need a putty. Putty is software we would use for our remote connection. It gives us a private remote connection to our instance in the public domain. Okay, so the idea behind this is the fact that it is not proper, I mean, from a security point of view, to expose our server, this our app server. It is not good to expose it to the public domain by leaving it in the um, public subnet. So I have created this VPC. VPC is just a virtual private cloud, which is like your data center, your company's data center in the cloud. And in the data center, within this availability zone, I have created public subnets 1A and a private subnet 1A. You will see this when we get to my console. And I've also created a NAS gateway. The NAS gateway is attached to the public subnet. The essence for this NAS gateway is such that it provides a link, it provides a means for our EC2 instance to be able to download updates from the internet. Okay, so it is a stateful firewall. It does not just allow any public connection to the EC2 instance. However, it will allow a response to a legitimate request from the EC2 instance. So it is a stateful firewall. Yes, on each of these subnets, you will notice that there is a routing table. Okay, there's a routing table attached to the public, and there's also another routing table attached to the private subnet. Due to time constraints, I am not able to go into details how these are created. But if we have some time after this scenario, I will come back to explain this further. All right, so we go straight to my console. Yes, okay, to my console. Here on the console, I have created a Bastion host just to help us save some time. And we are going to run through how to create the EC2 instance in our private subnet. This Bastion host has been created in the public subnets. And this is why it has a public IP address. You can say this, you have a public IP address and a private IP address because it's created here in the public domain, which is in the public subnet. Now we are going to follow the same process to create our EC2 instance. So the first thing, we click on launch instance. Okay, and the first thing to do in the wizard, as the wizard opens to you to guide you on how to create the instance, you have to specify the name of the instance. So we are creating a server instance. So I will name this my SMG server. Okay, you can name yours anything you like, and we can add a tag. The tags are just for administrative purposes. You can use tag to filter or to search your resources. In a case where you have over 1,000 resources on your infrastructure, you can add different tags based on project or however you want it. But for now, we don't need a tag. We need Amazon machine image to be able to provision our instance, and we'll be choosing the Amazon Linux image. Okay. There are several other images, as you can see, the Ubuntu, the Windows, depending on what machine you are trying to provision. And yes, we have chosen this. We have other images, other classes, and they all have different costs. But because I'm using a free tier account, I will use this free tier eligible. With every other thing here, the architecture, you can choose whatever architecture you like, but I'm leaving this architecture as is. The instance type, we have several other instance type listed with different cost implications, but of course I'm going with the T2 micro. Okay, the T2 micro, which is free tier eligible. And another thing we will need for our instance is a key pair. We use this key pair for login, okay? For if you need to make a secure connection to your instance, you need this, okay? I also use this for the Bastion. I use the same key pair. If you don't have a key pair, you can just fire up one here. It's easy. Specify the name, the RSA. You can use this format, PEM or PPK. But because I'm using putty, I choose PPK and then create. I'm not going to create this because I have one already. On the network session, I told you I had created a demo VPC. I've created all the infrastructures needed for this work. So I will choose my demo VPC. There is a default there in case you want to use the default VPC and the default subnets. Okay. So in my subnets here, I created my Bastion here in the demo public subnet 1A, which is in the availability zone A. I'm going to create the server in the demo private, emphasis on private, okay, still in availability zone A, but in the private subnets. And if you check here, it says auto assign IP address disable. I disable this because I do not want to expose my instance to the public network. So I have to disable public IP assignment. If I assign a public IP, my instance is exposed, but I need to keep it hidden. So I choose security group. You can create a new security group. I have some created already, which I will just choose this default. If you choose this default, please you need to ensure that SSH is opened. So you might need to add SSH rule, open SSH. I have opened it on this security group. And with every other thing being same, I am good to launch. All right, so launch instance. Yep. Okay, I go back to view all instance. You can see view all instance. I still have only my Bastion here, so I need to refresh this. Good, here we are. SMG server is showing. So as you can see, because it is created in the private subnets, look at this. It has only private IP address. You understand? And because our Bastion is created in the public subnet, it has both private and public IP address. So our instances are running now. What we need to do now is to make a connection. So, like I said on this image, the idea is to connect. Here I am as the administrator. The idea is to connect through putty to our Bastion host, and from the Bastion host we can now SSH into this. If we try to SSH directly to our EC2 from this to EC2, it's not going to work because the EC2 is in a private subnet. So we have to SSH through putty into this, and the Bastion serves as a jump host that will grant us access to this. That means it's going to forward the connection to our EC2. Let's do this. Okay, to do our connection, we need putty, and because we have our key, it is not advisable to save our key pair in the putty. So we have what we call the P agent. Okay, P agent is running already, so I will, yes, the P agent. What we do with the P agent is to save our key such that we don't have to impute our key pair in the putty. Rather, we save it here in the P agent such that whenever putty is about to make connection to our instance, the putty makes reference to the key saved here in the P agent. So how to add your key after you have downloaded the key is to add key. Wherever you saved your key, just do this, you add, and there you go, you close this, that's all. And here on the putty, what we need to do to ensure that the Bastion host is able to forward our connection to the EC2 instance is to check this. This option must be checked, please. All right, make sure it is checked. Then you come back to session. Here, what we need is to impute the public IP address for the Bastion host. Okay, the public IP here. This is the public IP, and we use it on our putty. Oh yeah, yes, accept. EC2, that's the username, user. Here we are. We are already in our Bastion host, and from here you can now SSH into the server. Okay, so to SSH into the server, same way, we go to our server. Okay, click on the server. Okay, why is it showing this way? Okay, so to the server, yes, here we are. You can see our server has a private IP but no public IP. So what we do for connection, okay, click on connect. We want to do SSH. So you copy this. This is how to connect. This is the string. I mean the command you need. Go back into this, and then it was it saying. All you need to say is yes. And guess what? We are in our SMG server. How do you know that we are in the server? Here is our instance, our server instance here. Note the IP address, and here, what do we have? Same IP. So we are already connected to our EC2 instance in the private subnet. Okay, so this architecture is best practice because it is not it is not acceptable, all right, from a security point of view to leave your servers in the public subnets. If you do this, requests from the public domain, from the internet, will hit your server directly. So anybody who has access to the public IP can easily access your server. So the best thing is keep your app servers, your applications in the private subnets. But for you to be able to manage it, to manage your server, provision a Bastion or a jump host in your public subnet with which you can SSH into your app server. I think this is it. Of course, there are other options to do this. You could use the system manager also to initiate this connection. But for this scenario, we are focusing on using the Bastion host. And I think I have been able to demonstrate this well enough. Thank you very much.